it's Chris with 22 Designs here today to show you how to mount our Outlaw telemark bindings. We always recommend having a dealer mount them, but if you don't have one nearby and you don't have access to one of our Roxbow mounting jigs, you can go ahead and do it with a template. We have these plastic templates available for sale on our website, or paper templates available that you can print out from the website. If you do print one out, go ahead and measure between the mounting dots to make sure they're exactly 1.5 inches between each dot. What you'll need is your Tele Boot, drill bit. For most skis, you'll want to use a 3.5mm drill bit. If you just have a regular US size drill bit, that would be a 9/64. If your skis have a metal top sheet, you'll want a 4.1mm or 5/32 drill bit. And with that metal top sheet, you'll also need a number 12 AB ski tap available at Tognar Toolworks. Marker, waterproof wood glue. We like to use a syringe. If you don't have one of those, it's helpful to have a matchstick or a toothpick to get the glue down into the holes. A center punch or a nail with a hammer to go along with it. Your template, some tape, a number 3 posi drive driver or a bit for your drill, a measuring tape, and your tele bindings. Next up is to find your boot center line on the ski. Most manufacturers have that marked on the top sheet or the sidewall. Some tele skiers like to go a centimeter or two back. We recommend mounting it right on boot center, and that's what we're going to do today. Once you have that marked, grab your boot and measure it from tip to tail in centimeters. Or with Scarpas, they have the boot sole length marked in millimeters on the outside of the heel. Then you can go ahead and grab your template. Find the Outlaw numbers and your boot sole length in centimeters. You'll want to line that line up with the boot center mark on the ski. Then find a matched set of parallel lines and very carefully line them up with the edges of your top sheet, making sure it's nice and straight. Now you'll want to grab your nail or your center punch and hammer. Go ahead and tap right in the center of just those front 6 holes. Once you have the front 6 holes punched, we want to measure and mark for our back of boot heel line. This boot is marked as 299mm, so we're going to call that 30 centimeters. We'll divide that in half. So we'll measure back from the boot center line 15 centimeters, then mark that on the top sheet of the ski. Once you have your back of boot heel marked, you pick up your template, slide it back so that the back of boot heel line on the template lines up with your line. And of course you want to make sure your matched set of parallel lines lines up perfectly and nice and straight. Then you can go ahead and punch those back 2 holes. Now that all 8 holes are punched, we can go ahead and pull the template off, and it's time to drill. Once you have your holes drilled, if you've got a metal top sheet, this is where you'll want to tap it. Then you can go ahead and clear out your sawdust and drill your other ski. Now we want to go ahead and open up our Outlaws. Inside we have what we call the binding pack, which has flex plates, slick pins, mounting screws, and a sticker. And of course, we have the two binding assemblies. Two double uphill heel climbers and instructional mounting poster. Now it's time to glue the holes. Go ahead and fill them up all the way if you can. Get the glue down in there with a matchstick or a toothpick if you want. Now it's time to mount the bindings. Go ahead and grab one of your Outlaws. You'll want to unlatch the binding, open the toe piece, and then go ahead and pull the latch forward again. You can set it on the ski over those 6 front mounting holes. Grab a drill if you've got one. Make sure the clutch is not set too tight. Somewhere in the middle is good. And grab some mounting screws. Drop them into the holes in the base plate. Now we'll go ahead and screw them in. Then you'll want to go back and tighten them up with your hand driver. And go back and tighten them all, snug them up one more time. Then take that driver, unlatch the binding, close the toe piece, and relatch it. Now that the binding is mounted, if you do have our optional brakes, this is where you'll want to install them. Go ahead and unlatch the binding and lift up the toe piece. Take the brakes with the hook pointed down, slide it in through the center of the toe piece into this slot in the toe piece. Then you can go ahead and close the toe piece. Now grab one of your flex plates, flip it over, press together the 2 prongs on the bottom and pull out what we call the plug. Then you will go ahead and install the flex plate with the center part of the brake going through the slot in the flex plate. Press down the flex plate and make sure the holes on the sides of it line up with the holes on the toe piece. At the same time, rotate the brakes so that the tube with the brake is also aligned with those holes. Then you insert your slick pin. If you don't have the brakes, go ahead and keep the plug in the flex plate. Set it on the toe piece so that the holes on the side align and insert your slick pin. You just need to press down lightly on the flex plate. Now that the binding's mounted, we can move on to the heel climbers. Go ahead and put a screw in the front and the back. And we'll snug those up. If you have older boots, you might want to check to make sure that there's going to be enough tension in the binding. Slide the toe piece in, step down, and you'll want to make sure that there's a gap between the spacer here on the slide wire and the orange part of the slide block right there. You can see this one has a gap. If there's not a gap, you'll want to trim these little orange tabs right here to make more space. Which could be possible if you have some really old beat up boots. Well, you're all set. You've got your Outlaws mounted up now. One thing to keep in mind is a little periodic maintenance. It's good to check your pivot screws and your mounting screws once or twice a year just to make sure they're nice and tight. If you're hearing any squeaking when you're walking or dropping the knee, just put a little silicone lubricant on the outside of the mainspring. It doesn't hurt to put a little silicone lubricant on the slide wires as well. Other than that, just keep the bindings clean. When you're spring skiing, clean your boots off, rinse the bindings off, and you should be good to go. We do have quite a few accessories available with the Outlaws. The brakes in 4 sizes that I mentioned earlier. Coil leashes, which attach right here on the toe piece. Stiffy and softy springs to replace the stock spring if you want to change the stiffness of the binding. We have adjustment keys to turn the spring cap and adjust the stiffness, backcountry repair kits, and ski crampons. Thanks for watching and enjoy your bindings.